students, welcome to my study channel. Today we will study the chapter 2, that is fractions and decimals, that is of the NCERT book of class 7. So hello students, please join me. Fractions and decimals or decimal numbers. And you see, this is the chapter 2, but today we will focus on fractions only. In the next video, we will discuss about the decimals. Okay? So first we will know what is a fraction. You see, fraction, that is a part of the whole or part of a whole. A part of a whole. This is the fraction. Suppose I will tell you what is whole here. Suppose this is one piece of bread. This is whole. But if I take, just I divide this one piece of bread into two equal parts. So, if I want to take this part or this part, suppose I want to take this part. So, how will I use a number to represent this part? Because it was one piece of bread. You see, it is circular. Generally, one piece of bread. What we take? What is its shape? It is just circular in shape. So, if I divide it into two equal parts, so it is a part of the whole. So, it is a fraction. It is a part of the whole. So, how will I represent it with a number? So, we have to discuss. We have to know some basic terms of the fraction. You see, when you represent a fraction, suppose I write here 1 divided by 2, or it is called 1 upon 2, and you see, this is called numerator. This is denominator, and this is the bar. 1 bar 2, that means 1 upon 2, or you may tell 1 divided by 2, or in short 1 by 2. Like this we call. And you see, a fraction consists of two parts, numerator and the denominator. What roles they have? You see, this is one piece of bread, and I will have to divide it into two equal parts, and I have to take one part out of it. Suppose I want to take this part. So I need two informations to represent a fraction. First, that object is divided into how many equal parts? You see, in two equal parts I have divided. Okay, so that will remain as the denominator. How many parts I will have to take? One part. So that will be the numerator. Then you place the bar. So this is the case. 1 upon 2. That means one object is divided into two equal parts, and I have to take one part. Then I will call it 1 upon 2. So this is 1 upon 2. This is also 1 upon 2. And this is a whole. This is complete 1. And you know there are two halves in 1. You see, half plus half. What is the sum here? 2 upon 2, that is 1. This is a whole. So now we proceed. Just I erase it. Be fundamentally clear. Before going to exercise, we will know the types of fractions, and before that we will discuss some examples. You see, suppose you see, I took suppose 1/3 of one object. One object means that is a whole. So I have to take 1/3 or 1/3 of one object. And if the object be that one piece of bread, so I will have to divide into 3 equal parts. Suppose these are 3 equal parts. So I divided the object into 3 equal parts and I will have to take one part. So 2 informations are added here. One for the denominator and the other one is for the numerator. So I have to divide the object into 3 equal parts and I will have to take one part. Suppose I choose to take this part, or maybe this part, or maybe this part. So you see, how many 1/3 or how many 1/3 are there in one object? You see, there are 3 because already we have divided into 3 equal parts and each part represents, and as number we can write 1/3, this is 1/3 and this is 1/3. But if I write 1/3 of 6, so this is not one object, but it behaves as a single unit. How? Suppose there are 6 objects. There are 6 objects. So 1/3 of 6 objects. Of means multiplication. Already you know it. So 1/3 of means multiplication. Then you write 6. So that is equal to 1/3 into 6/1. And already you know how to solve it. 3 2s are 6, that is equal to 2. So my point of saying is, it was one object and you got a part that is 1/3 and you found there are 3 numbers of 1/3 in one object. But there is no one object here. So 6 objects, it behaves as a single object. It behaves as a single unit. So I will have to take 1/3. That means I will have to divide 6 objects into 3 equal parts and I have to take one part. You see, suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 sweets. I have to divide the 6 sweets into 3 equal parts like this. So 3 equal parts I will have to divide. I divide it into 3 equal parts. This is one part, this is one part, this is one part. You see, equal division. And I have to take one part. So I will take this part. So in this part, how many sweets are there? 2 sweets. And you see the answer is 2 or not. So when there are more than one objects, you see, it also behaves as a single unit and we can also use like this. Okay? Suppose when you are studying in the class, what your teacher gives you some exercises or not. Suppose you have been given the homework to do one exercise, suppose of the mathematics. Suppose in one exercise there are 10 questions and you have been given to do, suppose, 2 questions as the homework. Okay? So you see, these 10 questions. In one exercise, there are 10 questions. 1, 2, 3, like this, up to 10 questions. But you have been told to do 2 questions as the homework. You have been given. So you see, out of 10 questions, you have to do 2 questions. So it is a part of the whole or not? Here whole is 10 questions. But you will have to do the homework, a part of 10 questions. Not all 10 questions you have been given to work out. No, only 2 questions. So you have to do 2 questions out of 10. So it is a part or not? So this is what fraction of the whole questions? That part is 2 upon 10. Yes or no? If you divide 10 questions, equal division, 10 divisions, and you take 2 parts of it. Like this. 10 divisions you do. For 10 questions, 10 divisions, and you take 2 questions. So out of 10, you will have to take 2. So this is numerator and this is denominator. So from the denominator and the numerator, you will have to make one fraction. One object or a whole is divided into how many equal parts? That will remain as the denominator, and how many parts you will have to take, that will remain as the numerator. So ultimately I want to say you that a fraction consists of 2 parts. One is numerator and the other one is denominator, and it is called the bar. So let us move to types of fractions. So we will discuss on types of fractions. You see, there are major 3 types of fractions. One is proper fraction. Proper fraction. Next is improper fraction. Mixed fraction or mixed numeral, that is mixed fraction. So it is a single fraction. Suppose you will have to give one proper fraction, so you will give one example. So what is proper fraction? In a proper fraction, the numerator is less than the denominator. Suppose I will write 2 upon 3. You see, you compare between the numerator and the denominator. Numerator is less than the denominator is not. So it is a proper fraction. So what is improper fraction? Now if I write the symbol for the numerator n and the d for the denominator and n for the numerator, you see n is greater than equal to d. If the numerator is greater than the denominator or numerator is equal to denominator, in that case that is an improper fraction. Suppose I write 3 upon 2. That is an improper fraction. So what is mixed fraction? What is mixed fraction? Mixed fraction. You see, in the mixed fraction, an improper fraction is converted to mixed fraction. And in the mixed fraction, 2 types of numbers you will find. One is a whole number and the other one is a what? Proper fraction. So 2 types of numbers are mixed. So it is called mixed fraction. Suppose here you see, I will take the example of an improper fraction where numerator is greater than the denominator, that is 3 upon 2. So you divide 3 by 2. 2 1 is 2, 3 minus 2 is 1. So it is q quotient, it is the remainder and it is the divisor. So how you place it? Q whole number and r upon d. R is the remainder and D is the divisor and Q is the quotient. You see, in 3, how many 2's are present? Now 1, it is right. You see, 3, 1, 1, 1. How many 2's are present? 1. 1, 2 is present, so 1 is the quotient. What remained? 1. And we divided 3 by 2, so 2 is the divisor. So, what you will write like this? Q whole number and R upon D. So, you see what is Q here? 1. So, 3 upon 2, when we divided 3 by 2, what we got? We can write like this. 1 is the quotient here. So, 1 whole number and remainder by the divisor. Always remember this. 1 whole number and 1 upon 2. So you see here 1 whole number and 1 upon 2. This is a mixed fraction. You see, this was the quotient. It is a whole number and it is a fractional part. It is a fraction. It is a proper fraction. So one is whole number and the other one is a proper fraction. You cannot find it is never an improper fraction. Always it will be a proper fraction. So whole number with a proper fraction. That is the mixed fraction. So from improper fraction, that means improper fraction that is converted to mixed number or mixed fraction, and the mixed fraction is also converted to improper fraction. You see how already we have done it in the previous class, and you see quotient into the denominator 1 into 2, that is equal to 2. 2 plus 1, that means 1 whole number and 1 upon 2, that is equal to this one is the quotient. So 1 into 2 plus what is the numerator 1? This will remain as the numerator of the improper fraction. Divided by 2, whole divided by 2. So 2 plus 1, that is 3 upon 2. And from this we got this, and from this also we can get this like this. We will divide it and Q whole number and R upon D. We can write this, so we can convert an improper fraction into mixed fraction. Okay? And from the improper fraction to mixed fraction, and from the mixed fraction to improper fraction. So we can interchange like this. Now we will discuss some more types of fractions. You see, like fractions. Like fractions, you cannot write like fraction. Like fractions, unlike fractions. Okay, and equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions. You see, what are like fractions? That means we will have to compare the fractions. We have to compare the fractions. And in case of like fractions, a number of fractions will be there, but we will have to mark one thing, whether the new denominator is same or not. So the fractions with same denominator are called like fractions. Suppose like this, 3 upon 4, 2 upon 4, 1 upon 4, 5 upon 4. You see, in each case, in each fraction, the denominator is same. So fractions with same denominator, they are called like fractions. Minimum there will be 2 fractions for telling like fractions, not like fraction. It is not single fraction like that, a proper fraction, improper fraction, or mixed fraction. So it is a number of fractions. And unlike fractions you see the fractions which do not have the same denominator. So suppose 3 upon 2, suppose 3 upon 5, you see the denominators are not same. If the denominators are same, all the fractions they will have the same denominator, then you will call them like fractions. But in case of unlike fractions, the denominators can never be same. So the denominators should be different. Then come to equivalent fractions. In case of equivalent fractions, you see their value, numerical value remains same. They represent the same part of the whole, but it seems to be different. Really, their numerical value is same. You see, suppose this is one piece of biscuit. So I wanted to divide it into two equal parts, and I will have to take one part. So if I equally I divide this piece of biscuit into two parts. Suppose the same part, same area, and you see, I have to take one part. Suppose I will take this part. This is 1 upon 2. This is also 1 upon 2. Alright here. Suppose I told mummy to give half part or 1 upon 2 part of one piece of biscuit. So he gave me like this, he gave me like this. So if I tell I need 2 upon 4, so I have to divide the one piece of biscuit into 4 equal parts, and I have to take 2 equal parts. Any two, maybe this part with this part, or maybe this part with this part, whatever it may be, but I will take 2 parts. Suppose I will take this part. So this is 1 upon 4, this is 1 upon 4, this part is 1 upon 4, this part is also 1 upon 4. So how many 1 upon 4 parts are there in one piece of biscuit? Alright, there are 4 number of 1 by 4, yes. And I have to take 2 parts. So if I take this part, so you see here, what I took before, when I divided that piece of biscuit into 2 equal parts, I had taken half, 1 upon 2. The same, here it is 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4. That means that is 2 upon 4. That is 1 upon 2. The same result. You see, so 2 upon 4 is equal to 1 upon 2. So 1 upon 2, that is equal to 2 upon 4. So the same part of the whole they both represent, and they are the equivalent fraction. They do not change in their numerical value. The value is same. They represent the same part of the whole. Suppose 1 upon 2, that is equal to, I will multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2. So 1 into 2 and 2 into 2, both by the numerator and the denominator, that is equal to 2 upon 4. So this is the equivalent fraction of 1 upon 2. Yes or no? So how we can get the equivalent fractions? Suppose 4 upon 2. I need an equivalent fraction. So I will have to multiply or divide. So first, in the case of multiplication, we will think first. We will divide both the numerator and the denominator by a non-zero common factor. Because we cannot divide by 0, 0 cannot be divided, and we have to take one common divisor. So you see, common factor, suppose it is 2. Eight upon 4 divided by 2, 8 divided by 2 here. So that is 2 upon 4. I may write like this. If I want to divide by 4, 4 upon 4 divided by 4, 8 divided by 4, that is 1 upon 2. So these are equivalent fractions. They represent the same part. 4 upon 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Suppose I divided one piece of biscuit into 8 equal parts, and I will take 4. This part. So this is 4 upon 8. It's okay. If I divide it to 4 equal parts, like this, and I have to take 2 parts. Again I am taking the same part. Okay, and if I divide into 2 parts, I am taking also this part. This is also 1 upon 2. So like this, I may multiply. Eight upon 16. So I multiplied any non-zero number both by the numerator and the denominator to get an equivalent fraction. So we can get equivalent fractions like this, which represent the same part. And you see, what are unit fractions? Fractions where the numerator is 1. 1 upon 5, 2 upon 6, 3 upon 8. You see, where the numerator is 1, that is a unit fraction. So you will do like this. So these are the types of fraction. So okay, hello students, and the next part we will discuss on the decimals. And before going to decimals, we will work out some exercise questions. And in that, in case of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, just before the exercise, I will discuss a little bit, then I will work out and just you will follow me. So, if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel. Okay? So, wish you all the best. Bye.